fan. Alright, welcome back to more Standard on Arena with me, Autumn, aka Rainy the Witch. Final Fantasy has dropped. Lots of new cards in the format. And there's one big one. Probably the best card in Final Fantasy. Vivi Ornitier. Pronunciation guide. But Vivi Ornitier. Really cool card. 0/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Vivi's going to grow. Vivi's going to ping the opponent. And then once on each of your turns, Vivi's going to make mana based on their power. So the bigger Vivi gets, the more mana you get, the more you get to do with Vivi. Every turn the Vivi is growing, getting you more and more mana, scaling bigger and bigger. Card seems absurd to me. We've played a little bit of the card before, but I'm excited to play this Vivi in Prowess. Of course, Prowess was previously the best deck in Standard before the new cards release. Deck built all around Cori-Steel Cutter, looking to trigger your cutters with Opt, Sleight of Hand, Torch the Tower, stock up. And then Stormchaser's talent gives you more Prowess threats. But instead of going all in on Prowess threats, we have Vivi as our additional threat. And there's some cool stuff going on in this list. This list is from a Modo challenge. I'm not convinced by all the details. I think the sideboard could maybe use some work. But I wanted to just try this list out and see how it feels. Because it's taking the deck in a really cool direction. Where these Roaring Furnaces are a great way to use Vivi mana. Because you put the furnace in play, you kill your opponent's thing, and then a couple turns later when Vivi's making a lot of mana, you get to unlock the Sauna. Same with Town Ain't Big Enough. Phenomenal way to use Vivi mana. If you have Vivi making 5 or 6 mana on your turn, that's 5 or 6 mana you can put into Stormchaser's loops, or bouncing and replaying your furnace. Seems really, really cool as a way to build around this Vivi card. This furnace package, Town Ain't Big Enough. Just going a little bit more mid-rangey than the previous Prowess decks. Excited to give it a spin and see how Vivi performs. Whereas everything else trades evenly. Yeah, it's a 4-drop. It does feel like pretty tough to cast it on turn 3. Alright, Cutter v Cutter. Although we did have the 1-drop and they didn't, so that's nice. They left on top. Terrifying. Oh, they have a Braid? Oh my god. Please don't. Oh, they have Furnace, okay. Sure. Goodbye, my otter. Phenomenal draw. Get in for 4. As a heads up, we're going to be playing a bunch of like other decks as well. I'm probably going to play Is It most days this week at some point on the stream. Just because I really need to figure out a good build. My Patreon guide will need updating. So I need to figure out how I actually feel about this Vivi card. And various other things. Stormchasers is fine. I think I'm getting rid of it though. So if I opt into a red source, I can technically make tokens on both turns. I guess I'm just going to cast the opt anyway and figure out what I'm doing afterwards when we get to that point. Spirebluff Canal is like fine because it lets me like activate my Stormchasers or go Vivi spell. I think it's like kind of mid though. Yeah, Town lets me achieve a lot of the same things. Lets me double spell pretty comfortably. What are the spiciest other decks? I've seen that Gruul Delirium has some new toys. It's playing Terra, and it's playing one of the other new cards as well. Aww. Thank you, Jan. I play the Magic cards good. The Wizard Squares. Aw, great to have you here, Forrest. I'm glad you're enjoying the content so much. I'm excited to keep it up. Wizard Squares. So my partner and I have been getting into Lorcana, and we call Lorcana mouse squares. Which is clearly the only thing you should ever call the cards in that game. Clearly it's meant to be called mouse squares. What else would you call it, you know? All roads lead to Rome. I don't really know why I'm tanking over this. You know, we out here. Mickey the Gathering. Phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff. Oh, when does the standard RCQ season start? I will say there's a very real risk that Cutter ends up eating a ban in the next month, but we will see. I call them squares despite the fact they are obviously rectangles. That makes it much more entertaining. Yeah, this Cutter card seems strong, right? Oh, Jund mid did well this week. And, oh, is this the this is the demons list. Yeah, we were planning on playing this one. Someone mentioned it earlier in the stream, Tony. I'm excited to give it a spin. Yeah, that's my opinion too, Lady Hasta. Oh, end of July, early August. So the last weekend of Modern is 19th, 20th of July. So I guess it must be end of July. That's pretty exciting. Start playing some Standard again. It is exciting both from the perspective that I look forward to playing competitive Standard, and from the perspective that Standard RCQ season is like the biggest boon ever for my Patreon. And for my coaching. I get so much more coaching when it's Standard season. It's kind of wild, honestly. Yeah, I think the two cards in Standard that are at risk of getting the axe are Rage and Cutter. But like, it's conceivable that maybe nothing gets the axe. I think if only Cutter gets the axe, maybe there could still be a good deck there with Vivi. Tough to say, but like, it's possible. Oh, a Standard metagame challenge this week. Nice. I guess I know what I'm doing on Friday. I always love the metagame challenges. They make for some nice times. Nice content. I think if I had to like hand out incredibly arbitrary, meaningless numbers on how likely I think things are to get banned, I would have Cutter and Rage both at like 80%ish, and I would have like Beans and Town at like 20%. To like put into perspective how like different worlds I feel they are. I almost don't want to cast this Vivi because I'm worried the Vivi's just gonna die. The Vivi doesn't die, it's pretty good for me though. But also the Vivi helps me double spell for this Cutter. I don't know. This town is big enough. Oh. Yike. Alert. Alert. Danger. Danger. This is kind of a disaster. What did we put on the bottom? I guess we put a town on the bottom. Kind of regretting that right now. I guess they'd have just arrest that instead of the furnace. It makes no difference. What do I do, chat? How do I ever not just lose horribly? Let me see. Yeah, I guess I could have sacked the cutter. I don't know. I think I'd like almost rather scoop than sack the cutter. Feels like sacking the cutter is basically just giving up. For all intents and purposes. Okay. Oh my gosh, I get to trigger in that turn. Alright, we're kind of doing something. We get to block, trigger, sack, exile the other one. I see what's happening here. This is fine. In the words of Maui, I see what's happening here. Alright. Sure. I'm still not sure how, like, they still have 2 cards in hand, but, you know, we're trying. We're trying our hardest. Do I want this town ain't big enough? It, like, doesn't do anything, right? I believe. I need to draw stock up. Uh-oh. Well, currently wishing I could bounce a demon token, but, you know. Here we are. No! Here comes the demon. Alright, town ain't big enough off the top. This is like a somewhat aggressive good game, but I guess probably justified. Opponent, please shut up. Do people who aggro good game not realize that you can just mute them? Can and will mute. Not afraid. I know Torch answers Slasher. It kind of does nothing else, and we have these unable to screams in these towns. I don't know. Seems fine to just cut them. My assumption. Oh, Trainer's nice against Strategic Betrayal. Gaming in game 1 is also just kind of weird. We also, like, literally hadn't lost yet. We could have drawn town ain't big enough and the game would have been fine. I'm pretty hesitant to mulligan against the 10 million discard spells deck. We have 2 stock ups. I don't know, could be worse. Stock up on the play. You've had all the emotes muted since you started playing. Maybe I should do that. Sometimes you get cute interactions with people. How many games have we played with this deck? This is our 4th match. I will say, so far, I'm not convinced by this VB card, but it's also early days. I want to try out some other builds as well. Maybe it could be good. Unable to Scream seems phenomenal. I could take a route. I could also just take a land drop. Land drop sounds kind of reasonable. Yeah, it's true, Callie. The emotes should really be cheaper, or they should give you more of them for free. I'm kind of surprised they don't. I mean, I'm not surprised they don't, but I am also surprised, you know? Really, it's wildly unsurprising, but it would be nice. Row plus? We could take 11 if we Row plus. It is worth noting. This could be like a disaster. It's pretty high upside though. They're back to for griefing. Oh, on that note, I really hope we get a chance to use the lands am I right emote in Game 3. Clearly the best emote ever. I would like to block, thank you. No, my Planeswalker. Rude. Rude, rude, rude. I guess I could just furnace this, because I have town ain't big enough. They're saying good game. I have genuinely no idea who they're good gaming for right now. Are they saying that they're dead? Are they saying that I'm dead? Like, what's going on here? Genuinely couldn't tell you what their intent was by that good game. They have 4 cards, we have 3. I don't know. Opponent, please. They just wanted me to know that they're having a good time. Aw. I'm glad they're enjoying the game. It's important, you know? It's important to enjoy the games you play. I guess I would like to start drawing 2 cards a turn. They have an annex, we have an annex. They make a demon, we bounce the demon. You know. Not all rooms are annexes. It does draw us a card every turn though. It's literally an annex. The Planisphere card. Is that the 1 in a blue equipment? I think that card looks quite bad to me. But I've also not played with it yet, so maybe I should reserve my judgment a little bit longer. But I'm very suspicious of it. Baseline. Baseline, incredibly suspicious of it. What if we just don't use any of the cards in our hand? Why would we cast something from our hand? That would be ridiculous. Get in there, mighty otter. You can do it. I believe in you. I think the Planisphere card just compares really unfavorably to Drakecatcher. And Drakecatcher's already, like, you know, good in some matchups and kind of awful in others. When did you change decks to mono blue? Every day in my heart. Wow. Alright, I guess so. This vacuum's a little bit annoying. It must be sad. Alright. Let's kill this bat. Yeah, Ghost Vacuum's gonna take all these towns out of my yard. Wish I had some Abrades. This list doesn't have any for some reason. Level 3 talent, we demand it. I mean, that would require level 2ing talent, and currently level 2 talent is blank, so. But it might happen at some point. Have I played unit? I have not. If someone shows me a good unit list, I certainly want to play unit, as evidenced by, you know, the sleeves and the avatar. I'm a unit fan. Despite just getting my stock up back, I kind of feel like I'm meant to opt first in case I find a Rao. Because I can cast the Rao this turn. Oh, Vivi. Vivi's a little weird into potential Gixes, but you know. Cast it anyway. Please don't Gixes me, friend. Yeah, it's true. Gix's command is the only card that matters. And even if they Gix's command, we're still kind of playing Magic, mostly. And they're kind of dying to their Annex. Probably fine. Oh, you've been trying Lightning in Naya Legends? That's kind of sweet. I have no idea how you're meant to build Naya Legends. There's so many cards. There's just so many cards you can put in that deck. Alright, they're arresting me. Oh, then they can Ruthless to take my other card. Yeah, I think the Vivi combo deck's pretty bad, Fran. Although pretty fun too, I will say. Maybe it could be made better. It's possible you could build it to be reasonable. Alright, that's pretty good Rush of Dread. Does Rush of Dread mean they're playing the awful 2-4? One would assume so, right? Fascinating. Well, game free. Have I tried any other builds of Vivi and Cauldron since my YouTube video? I haven't. I'm probably not going to touch anything like that in a little bit. There's so many new decks to play, and also I need to work on finding a good, is it Prowess list? I do think the Vivi combo deck can be built a lot better than the list I was playing, though. I don't know how it's meant to look, but I definitely, you know, feel like the list I was playing was not great. Needed some work. Am I in the RC? Yeah, I'm qualified for the RC, although the European one isn't until, like, early November. It's crazy. We got, like, the first one in the previous cycle, and we have, like, the last one in this cycle, or whatever. So it's just, like, the world's biggest gap between RCs. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if it's actually the last one. I'm just kind of assuming it is on the basis that, like, why is it so late in the year? Standard RC queues begin at the end of July, and the modern RC is not until the beginning of November. Yeah, the Spotlight Liverpool was before that too, it's true. It's wild. They ban Cutter and Rage as Blue Red a Prowess deck. I mean, if they ban Cutter and Rage, the format just looks completely different. So, hard to say. Like, if they ban Cutter and Rage, Standard is just a different format. The rules of the engagement just completely change. So, like, who knows what Standard would look like? Like, Esper Pixie used to be the best deck in Standard, and is now unplayable because of Cori-Steel Cutter, you know? Like, you can add or remove one card to a format and just shake it up so dramatically. Alright. I'm pressuring them pretty good. 30th of June, something like that. The very end of this month. I don't know the exact date. It is after the Pro Tour, though. Ah, Malicious Eclipse, okay. Any more where those came from? Wow. I wasn't kidding. Alright. Get in for 4, I guess. Am I allowed to start aggressively good... Chat. Am I allowed to start aggressively good gaming them? I really want to. Yes. Alright, let's go. You think I have to? I am morally obligated to. Oh, I'm a little bit worried about bricking on a spell now after doing that. Whew, that was a close one. Their pathetic griefing are funny bits. Oh my god. Kinda karmic justice if I bricked. Oh, if I bricked, it would have been genuinely hilarious, yes. Very deserved. Luckily, I didn't. Good game. Good game. Good game. Time for the opponent to rope. Look. Opponent was always gonna rope. I never believe otherwise for a moment. Anyone who good games us 30% of the way into game 1, 100% gonna rope us. Opponent can dish it out but can't take it. Indeed, indeed. Oh, hey Cammy, good to see ya. So my current suspicion is that Prowess continues to be phenomenal, and this Vivi card is almost certainly not a 4 of. Maybe a couple copies of Vivi could be good, I really don't know. But 4 copies seems like a lot of very expensive cards that die to removal spells. You like 2 Vivi? Yeah, we might try out 2 Vivi tomorrow. Something like that, maybe. You don't like it at all? Yeah, it's also believable to me that maybe the card's just bad in Prowess, but I want to try out a couple copies. I also think 4 copies of Town is like a lot of Towns. The Furnace Saunas were kind of nice though, and I definitely wouldn't mind some copies of Town. Much to consider, much to consider. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed the stream, please make sure to give me a follow. I stream Standard on Arena most Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Missed a few recently, but...